Ahoy Rum Explorers, I'm Nia and today I'm reviewing Seawolf to continue with the bottles I brought back from Scotland. This is another true original distilled in Scotland rum. This is quite an interesting story, so grab a drink and come follow along. So a little bit of history of this rum. It was actually created by Mike Aikman and Jason Scott. They're owners of some very popular bars in Scotland. We were specifically in Bramble in Edinburgh. They have a menu, but the interesting thing is if you want something off the menu that's a classic, like I was craving a daiquiri, they're able to do something like that. And they actually created this rum specifically for daiquiris. Now, the bartender at Bramble mentioned that this was a rum agricole style. She even said that they were using sugarcane juice, but upon a little bit more research, specifically Jason was so kind enough to send me an email with all the information. So thank you so much, Jason, for sending me and being so transparent of how this rum was made. So they created this from molasses. They consider this a pure single rum. It's also distilled in a pot still and it's fermented for 5 weeks. Now, they say that this specific rum, they want to create the perfect daiquiri, and that's what I had. Now, if I remember this rum correctly, it's incredibly salty or briny, but let's go ahead and try it and wait for the perfect sound. Ooh, great pop. Fake cork, but you know, still works. And then the other thing is this is actually distilled in Angus at Oligari Spirits. So they're actually an independent bottler, the company that distills this. And the funny part is I didn't pick this bottle up at Bramble. I picked it up at Lucky, another phenomenal rum in Edinburgh. They had a ton of cocktails and they actually made me a daiquiri at Bramble, but then they made me a sea crest, I think it was, or sea rise or something like that. And that was also amazing with this rum. Now, as far as the notes, they say we should detect pear, apple, squished blackberries, and then on the palate, it should be fruit, banana, raisins. So let's see. I think I have banana here. Now, I don't remember detecting banana in this, I have to be honest. So I'm gonna bring the banana out and maybe pour it on a little bit of piece of paper here because I'm out of the little sticks. Now, this smells like a very fake banana to me. It doesn't really smell like banana. It kind of noses like banana you put in candies or something like that, or in baked goods. So let me see. I am detecting like a green apple, not so much the blackberries. Let's see if we have berries here somewhere. No, we don't. We have sherry, tropical fruits, vanilla. Yeah, so I detect a little bit of like a green apple, not so much the pear, but it is quite fruity. Let me see, tropical fruits. Let's see, banana. Maybe a little, but not too much banana. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. Cheers. Oh yeah, this is very salty and briny. It says that on the palate I should be detecting fruit, banana again, raisins. I don't detect the fruit so much, but I definitely kind of detect the raisins and a lot of saltiness or brininess at the beginning of the palate, and then it ends very sweet and very oily. I really enjoyed this in a daiquiri, so I completely understand why they created this. But like I said, there's something very unique. So this is supposed to be a rum agricole style. For me, it kind of reminds me of the Trois Rivières, the blue bottle, which is like $30, but that one's a little bit sweeter. This one's a little bit more like harsher on the palate. It's definitely saltier too, which is very interesting. They have a very cool label, so let me come and show you. So they wanted the bottle to look like this so you could truly get a sense for the spirit. It's completely clear. There's nothing going on. Also, Seawolf is the name for orcas in native language, and the design, which is very beautiful, looks kind of like thumbprints on the orcas. It's from a local Scottish artist, so I thought that was pretty cool. There's not a lot of information on here. If you go to seawolf.rum, you'll get the information there, but this one's 40 ABV, so a nice decent proof. A very medicinal style bottle with not a lot of labeling, very transparent, so you could actually see how nice and clear this rum is. I honestly don't think I could sip this neat too much. I think this is ideal for a daiquiri or maybe like a Queen Park Swizzle, something like that, or maybe like another type of cocktail. I think for a daiquiri it's perfect that they made this. Now, as far as the rum journal is concerned, this is going to be a white type of rum. As far as the Gargano classification system, this is going to be a pure single rum, not a pure single rum agricole because it's made from molasses. And then for the Royal Rum Society's taste code classification between dry and sweet, I'm definitely going to give this a 3. This is not sweet at all, almost nothing, although I do detect a little bit of the raisins on the palate. Now from bland to flavorful, this definitely impressed me with their flavor, so I am going to give it an F. It's quite a complex palate and it's quite interesting. I've never tasted a transparent rum like this. It's very unique. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of that Trois Rivières, the turquoise bottle, but then it has a little bit of a spin on the back palate that I literally can't put my nose or palate in it because there's something unique there. Which I think it's like a brininess to it. Maybe it's like, I don't know. This last sip kind of gave me like a peatiness effect to it, but then as far as harsh to smooth, I'm gonna say this is very light, so I'm gonna give it an L. And then on my first sip, it was an L. On my second sip, it's still gonna be an L. And then as far as the whiskey exchange flavor camps, I'm gonna give this an herbaceous and grassy because it's definitely a rum agricole style. Now, moment of truth. Is this treasure chest approved? Considering what I have right now on my treasure chest, which as a reminder, it is the Clement Vanilla Intense, that's a rum agricole style, the Brugal Visionaria, the Isla Rum Barrel Aged, and the Down Island Ghana Rum. But if you are in Scotland, definitely scoop up this bottle. I cannot remember how much I paid, but I'm going to put it in the comments down below if I can find the receipts, because I know I kept all the receipts. But definitely go to Bramble, the best cocktails we had there. We even went to Panda and Sons. I think there were more of like classic cocktails at Bramble and at Lucky, and Panda and Sons, which is the bar number 35 in the world. It was quite unique. They were doing like an ice cream take on cocktails, but it was very interesting because they were creamy, but they were using peated rums, so they were finishing very smoky to cut a lot of the sweetness. So they were inspired by ice cream, but it wasn't like you were drinking an ice cream, if that makes sense, which I quite enjoyed. It was very unique, but I don't think a lot of like the cocktail purists would like that kind of place. So if you're more of a cocktail purist, definitely go check them out, Bramble and Lucky. And thank you so much for their insight on this team. They were very fast on getting me a bottle, sending me to the next place so I could have some more cocktails, and just a really fun time. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments down below if you would buy this bottle, if this is something that interests you. I know they say that it's a rum agricole. I personally don't really get a lot of rum agricole vibes. Maybe a little bit when they push the proof to like 70%, because that's where you get a lot more of the brininess on the rum agricole. So that kind of reminds me, without the high proof, it kind of reminds me like this. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to the next rum. Cheers.